The little boy said, "Sir, please take my mama." The cowboy looked at her bruises and nodded. The prairie afternoon was too quiet for Wade Callister's liking. Even the wind seemed tired, dragging itself low across the open land as if it had lost the will to blow. Wade guided his horse down the rutted trail toward the old trading post, an ugly, leaning structure that looked ready to collapse if someone breathed too hard. He hadn't meant to stop. He was only passing through on his way to the settlement to buy fencing wire. But something in the air made him slow his horse to a walk. A movement near the split-rail fence caught his eye. It was small enough he almost thought it was a coyote pup nosing around. But then it stood up straight, a boy, thin as a fence picket, dirty from head to toe, and watching him like someone watches a stranger who might be their last chance. Wade drew his reins in and brought the horse to a halt. The boy didn't run, didn't wave, didn't even blink. Just stared with eyes far too old for a child, who couldn't have been more than 7. Wade swung down from the saddle, boots puffing dust from the dry earth. "You all right there, kid?" The boy's throat worked, like swallowing was difficult. When the words came, they were soft and cracked. "Sir, please, take my mama." Wade froze. The air felt suddenly heavier, pressing down on him. Words like that, coming from a child, they meant something bad. Something a man couldn't walk away from. "What's your name?" Wade asked gently. "Eli." The boy rubbed at his nose with the back of his hand, leaving a smudge of dirt across his cheek. "Mama's hurt. Real bad this time. She told me to hide, I did. But she ain't got up yet. She can't." Wade felt a slow burn gather in his chest, a warning of the anger he kept buried most days. "Where is she?" Eli pointed with one trembling hand toward the back of the trading post, where an old door hung crooked on one hinge. "She's in there. He'd locked her in before he left." Wade didn't need to ask who he was. The set of Eli's jaw, the fear in the boy's eyes, the hollow sound of his voice. Wade had seen it all before in different places, different faces. Some men drank too much and became monsters in their own homes. "You stick close to me," Wade said. Eli nodded quickly and followed him, steps soft, legs shaking. Wade walked slow, so the boy didn't have to hurry. The trading post loomed ahead, its boards warped, its windows dirty, its shadows long and dark, like the memory of a bad night. The crooked door creaked when Wade pushed it open. The smell inside hit first, sweat, stale liquor, and the sourness of blood. Light slanted in through a broken pane, dust dancing in the beam. And there, against the far wall, sat a woman, Eli's mother. She was curled on the floor, her back against a wooden beam, one arm clutched tightly around her middle. Her hair hung loose and tangled down her face. But even through it, Wade could see the bruises, dark, fresh, yellow around the edges, where older ones had started to fade. A cut near her. Temple had dried into a small crusted line. She didn't scream, didn't flinch. She only looked up at Wade with exhausted eyes that had long since run out of tears. "Mama," Eli whispered, his voice tiny in the empty room as he rushed to her side. Her hand lifted, shaky, slow, and she touched his cheek. "I told you to stay hidden, baby." "He's gone," Eli said. "I think he's gone for good." Then, glancing at Wade as if confessing a sin, I asked him to help. She looked at Wade again, shame flickering across her bruised features. "Sir, I'm sorry. Eli don't know better than to trouble folks." "It's no trouble," Wade said softly. "My name's Wade Callister. Your boy said you needed a hand." She swallowed hard, the sound rough like her throat had cried itself raw. "My husband, he hits the bottle. When he can't find it, he hits other things." Eli clung to her arm, his small body pressed against her. Wade saw the boy watching him, hope straining against fear. Wade stepped closer, though slowly, giving her time to see each movement. "I can help you outside." "Got water." "A bedroll. You look like you're hurt." She hesitated, lips trembling. "He broke the key in the lock this morning. I was too sore to get up and force the door." "You hurt anywhere real bad?" Wade asked. Her hand drifted to her ribs. Even that little shift made her wince. "May I?" he asked quietly. "Only if you say yes." She didn't speak for a moment. Her eyes, red-rimmed and tired, met his. Something in them shifted, a flicker of trust, small but real. Please, she whispered. Wade knelt beside her, careful not to startle her. When he slid one arm beneath her legs and one behind her back, she tensed, but then her body went limp from pure exhaustion. Eli stood beside them, gripping her fingers tightly as Wade lifted her into his arms. She weighed almost nothing. Wade carried her out into the sunlight, letting the warmth fall across her bruised skin. Her eyes squeezed shut against the brightness, but her breathing steadied. Just a little, like the open air itself was a kind of relief. He laid her gently on his bedroll in the shade of the trading post wall. Eli sat beside her, stroking her hair with trembling hands. Wade knelt again. I need to look at your ribs, ma'am. Make sure nothing's broke. She nodded, and when he eased the fabric aside, he saw the worst of it. Deep bruising, swelling, a faint outline of where a boot or fist had struck. His jaw locked. He do this often? He asked quietly. She closed her eyes. More lately. The drought's got him angry at everything. He drinks, then he blames me for his troubles. He used to be. Kind, once. Wade's hands curled into fists, the quiet kind of fury settling in. Some men didn't deserve good women. Some men were poison. Eli's voice cracked suddenly. Sir, please take my mama, please. She can't stay here. He'll kill her one day. The words hit harder than a bullet. Wade looked from the boy's pleading face to the broken woman lying on his bedroll. The wind carried nothing but silence. No birds, no distant wagons, just the breath of a dying place and a mother who had run out of road. Wade took a long, steady breath. All right, son, he said finally. His voice was firm, certain. I'm taking both of you with me. The woman's eyes opened, wide with disbelief. You don't even know us. No, Wade ordered. But I know wrong when I see it. And I won't leave you here to face it alone. Eli's small hand reached for Wade's. For the first time, Wade took it. Wade didn't waste a minute once he made his decision. He helped the woman sit up, bracing her gently under one arm, and carried her toward his horse. Eli stayed right beside them, steps quick and anxious, as though he feared Wade might change his mind. The boy kept looking over his shoulder toward the dirt road, expecting the dust cloud of a returning wagon. His father, Wade noticed, and that alone made him move faster. The mare, a calm sorrel with a patient disposition, flicked her ears as Wade approached. Easy, girl, Wade murmured as he secured the saddle horn and shifted the bedroll into a better position. Then turning to the woman, Ma'am, I'm gonna lift you up real slow. It'll hurt some, but we'll go easy. She nodded, though fear trembled in her breath. Her hand reached instinctively for Eli's arm, and the boy climbed onto a nearby stump to hold her steady as Wade lifted her into the saddle. She let out a gasp, one that twisted itself into silence, but Wade didn't miss it. She settled sideways across the saddle, one hand gripping the pommel. Wade looked at Eli. You ride with me. Your mama needs the saddle more. Eli nodded and climbed into Wade's arms. He weighed almost nothing. The boy wrapped his arms around Wade's neck as he mounted behind the woman. When they were all secure, Wade clicked his tongue and nudged the mare forward. Dust rolled up behind them as they left the sagging trading post. The building shrank with distance, another place that held too much sadness. Eli kept glancing back, watching it disappear as though unsure whether he was allowed to feel relief. They rode slowly, keeping jostling to a minimum so the woman could endure the movement. Wade could feel her swaying, hear her sharp breaths each time the horse stepped over a rut. The sun was dipping lower, turning the prairie gold. What's your name? Wade asked her gently as the silence stretched thin. She hesitated, as though worried her name was something she no longer deserved. Lena, she finally whispered. My name is Lena. Pretty name, Wade said. Eli leaned forward a little, resting his cheek against Wade's shoulder. Mama's real strong, he said proudly, though the tremble in his voice betrayed fear. Lena reached for her son's hand, brushing it with her fingertips, despite the pain. Wade saw it, the quiet love in the gesture, the kind that had kept her going through nights she should never have had to survive. A few minutes later, Wade spoke softly. How far's the nearest town? 3 hours' ride, Lena said. If you take the river path, Wade nodded. We'll head that way. I know a small ranch along the creek. A widow lives there. She's a good soul. She'll let us rest the night. Lena swallowed. "You're doing too much already, sir." Wade shook his head. "Not doing enough." They rode on. The prairie wind picked up, whistling past the grass. The silence between them grew heavier, filled with things none of them were ready to say. It was Eli who spoke next. "Mama?" His voice was small, hopeful. "You won't go back, right?" "You don't gotta go back." Lena closed her eyes. Wade watched her shoulders tighten. "I promised your papa once," she whispered, "that I'd stay, that we'd keep trying." Wade felt Eli stiffen, but Lena continued with a slow, fragile breath. "Some promises shouldn't be kept when they're killing you." Eli pressed his face into her arm, a soft sob escaping. She cupped the back of his head, her hand shaking. Wade didn't interrupt. He let them speak in whatever silence they needed. The sky deepened into purple. Stars began creeping out along the horizon. Wade could feel Lena growing weaker, her body swaying more with each step. When he saw her slump forward slightly, he murmured, "Lena, we're stopping for a moment." He dismounted and helped ease her down into his arms. She tried to stand, but her legs buckled. "It's all right," Wade said, steadying her. "Lean on me." They rested beneath a cluster of cottonwoods, where the land dipped near a creek. Wade knelt and offered Lena water from his canteen. She drank slowly, each swallow painful. Eli knelt beside her, his hand never leaving hers. Wade inspected her ribs again under the fading light. The bruises spread farther than he'd seen earlier. "You're lucky nothing's broken clean through," he murmured. "But you need rest. You need a doctor." "We don't have money," Lena said softly. Shame coated her voice like dust. "Didn't ask about money," Wade replied firmly. "I said you need a doctor." Her eyes shimmered with something she tried hard to hold back: gratitude, fear, disbelief. She lowered her gaze, shoulders shaking. "Why are you helping us?" she whispered. Wade paused. He hadn't expected the question, though he should have. "Because no man with a beating heart leaves a woman in the dirt like he left you," he said. "Because your boy asked me with everything he had left. And because you deserve better than the life he gave you." A tear slid down Lena's cheek. She brushed it away quickly, angered it had escaped. I used to think I deserved it," she said faintly. "That if I was kinder, quieter, worked harder, maybe he wouldn't get so mad." Wade's jaw tightened. He crouched so she would see the truth in his eyes when he spoke. "Lena, nothing you did gave that man the right to lay a hand on you. Men like him don't break because of you. They break because something in them is already cracked." Eli leaned against his mother. She kissed the top of his head. After a while, Wade helped Lena back onto the horse and climbed up with Eli. They rode again, slower this time, careful with every step. The moon rose full, lighting the path like a silver lantern. When at last the widow's ranch came into view, a soft glow of lantern, light in the distance, smoke curling from a chimney, Lena exhaled for the first time, like she believed safety might exist. Wade dismounted and carried her to the porch. The widow, Mrs. Talbot, opened the door before Wade even knocked. She gasped at the sight of Lena, then ushered them all inside with hurried arms and a sharp tongue that hid deep kindness. Eli followed them in, clutching his mother's shawl. Wade set Lena down gently on a couch near the hearth. Her eyes lifted to meet his. "Wade," she whispered, voice raw and thin, "you saved us." He shook his head. "No, Lena, you saved yourself the minute you decided you weren't going back." She nodded once, tears finally falling freely, not from pain, but from something beginning to heal. And Eli climbed into her lap, holding her as though he could protect her now, even if he was only a boy. Wade stepped back, watching them, feeling something shift in his own chest, something quiet, something hopeful. They weren't safe yet. There would be trouble ahead, no doubt. But for the first time, they weren't facing it alone.